Well, welcome back to Did She Really Say That? I am your host, Katrina Van Oudheusden, and I love this conversation with Andi that we're going to have today. Why? Because I find Andi fascinating. She doesn't know this, but the first time we met and she talked about that she was a certified hypnotherapist, I was like, yeah, we're going to have a crap ton of fun on this podcast today. She's a rapid results coach, international speaker, best-selling author. She's got 20 years plus experience in productivity, corporate training, organizational leadership, featured on stages around the globe because she's freaking awesome. And I'm going to remind her of that right now. Andi, you're awesome. And I'm so excited you're here. One of the fun facts, and I know we'll dive into this just a little bit, we always talk about a bucket list. And ladies, I know for a fact you probably don't have a bucket list because most of us don't dream big. We don't dream about what's possible in our lives and what we truly desire. And I'll plug in the Create Her Planner because that dream journey, we actually ask you, what are your top 50 desires? What do you want to accomplish, have, and desire in your life? Not for your family, not for your kids, but for yourself. And I think it's beautiful that Andi literally checked off that bucket list in 37 years, though having just walked into this conversation, she's got another thing on her bucket list. It's coming in 2026. She does, right? She's designed her and developed her breakthrough roadmap formula for really, if you want to get results, if you really want to take your life to the next level, Andi is the person to connect with, right? She is in Phoenix. She is the local group leader of the Phoenix Holistic Chamber of Commerce. She is E-Woman Leadership Team. She's on that team itself. And honestly, she knows that if you believe in yourself, anything is possible. And you truly have everything already inside of you to have every desire you want in your life, right? She is dedicated to helping women remix their lives and achieve extraordinary. So, Andi, thank you so much for being a yes, and jumping on with me today in this conversation. I'm so blessed to have you here today.
Thank you so much. I love, that you got on that, like, we don't dream big enough. I think as I was thinking about the title of this podcast, did she really say that? I think a lot of people, for me, less about what I say and like, did she really do that? Like,
It's true. Did she really do that? Like that is the question,
go
honestly.
do it, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you've been specializing in hypnotherapy. Like, what got you into this practice? Out of everything you could have done, why this particular methodology?
Yeah. I love this question because I don't think I knew. When you look at people who have done something, it looks from the outside like they had that plan and knew it all along. And I don't think that's usually the case. And it definitely wasn't the case for me. So,
Me neither.
right. I try to remind people all the coolest things you've ever done in your life, if you look back, were the things that you could not have planned. And
Yeah.
that should tell you to stop worrying about planning like your future. Not planning, because I mean, I was a Franklin Covey productivity consultant, plan your shit. But, don't worry about, making it happen, the how, right? So, anyway,
Yeah. Yeah. Don't focus on the how. Don't
yeah,
focus on the how. Just know you're
you're
going to do it.
the coolest things you will do, you have no idea how they will happen. And so that was true for me. I was an organizational leadership professor and spent about a decade taking students on study abroads and really helping them figure out what they wanted to do with their life. And when it came time for me to leave that arena and move on to different things, I thought I was just gonna go be like a career coach. That's kind of what I was doing with my students, helping them figure out who they wanted to be in the world and how to get there.
Which I
And
think is a really unique place to be with people. Like, where are you going? What do you want to accomplish? Kind of a
oh,
thing.
100%. And I think it's one of the things that I'm like most obsessed with is I think there's something like uniquely for you that
Yeah.
no one else can do or would do or would be interested in doing. And so that's my jam. I love helping people figure out what those
Mm.
intersections are of like, I like this and I like this and I like this. And it feels like I gotta pick one. And it's like, no,
No.
actually, there's something really cool that doesn't exist that's only unique to you.
Yeah.
If you bring it in. But I started taking my first clients and we'd get into coaching and I'd be like, you don't need another strategy. This is not a strategy problem. This is not a how-to problem. What you need is, how what's blocking you from going to do it, right? And fortunately for myself, I had discovered self-hypnosis when I was like 10.
Okay.
I was an ADHD, autistic, completely undiagnosed because we didn't do that back in the day.
We did
Um,
not.
no, it wasn't even a thing, and definitely not for girls. And I just knew life was hard, right? I just knew like it felt like my brain was broken. It was
Mm.
like, why is this easy for everyone else? And I came across a cassette tape in a garage sale. It was about
Wait, a
10 years
cassette
old.
tape? You're really dating yourself
I
now.
know. I think about this all the time now when I talk. I'm like, oh my gosh, my metaphors are going to need to be updated because
There
give
was
me
this
another
plastic.
five
You're gonna have to
years.
put pictures up when you do your speaking things. You're gonna have to be like, so this
This was a
old
cassette
school,
tape.
yes.
Put the pencil up. What do these two things have in common? Yeah.
Fix the
Um,
tape.
I don't know what I'm gonna do about that, but it every time I talk about it, it lands on me that I'm, yeah, dating myself. But yes, cassette
It's
tape.
okay.
And I was just instantly like, it was a self-hypnosis cassette tape, and I was like, you're telling me I can change my brain in my sleep? Like that sounds like the laziest, coolest, easiest way to do anything.
I want that. Yes.
I'm in, right?
Yes.
And so with some of these first clients, they were acquaintances or almost friends. And so I was able to kind of say the way I would deal with this is through hypnosis. I would do some
Mm,
sort of a visualization. Would you like to try that? And the ones that did had like a complete 180. Like
mm,
they just all of their stuff started clicking. It started moving forward. It was no longer, I can't make these sales calls. I don't know why I can't make these sales calls. It was no longer, I can't put this application in and talk to this hiring manager. And the ones who didn't, the ones who said no, some of them 3 years later, I'm still working on the same shit, right?
yeah.
And so that taught me that I was onto something here, that there was a missing piece. And so I went back to school, of course, because I'm a professor and a geek like that, and did a full program in clinical hypnotherapy, because I wanted to have a full toolbox. I knew what worked for me, but I wanted to have a full toolbox for what was going to work for other people.
Yeah. And I respect
And
that. Thank you for
yeah,
that. Yeah.
so that is, and then it just became, I don't want to do it if it's not hypnosis.
Mm,
You're asking me to sit here and coach, but you're not actually interested in doing the things that you need to do to get over those blocks, to actually take action.
yeah.
And that's no fun. So now, I am a coach. I do a lot of business strategy. I work mostly with entrepreneurs, but also with other like high achievers. I've got high achieving kids in my practice, like, you know, uh, Olympic level gymnast kind of dreams, things like
Yes.
that. So it's not specifically for entrepreneurs because these are all human problems, right?
Yeah.
But I do a lot of coaching, but I always say, I'm a hypnotherapist first. Because if you're not interested in doing that part, I'm not the right coach for you.
So I do have a question around that. That kind of came to me is like, I know some people are very fearful that if they're going through hypnosis, you're going to manipulate them. You're
Yep.
going to do something like crazy. Can we talk a little bit about,
Yes, please.
that piece right there? Like it is not something that's abused. And I think there's an ethics behind hypnosis. And for you, that she's shaking her head for those that aren't watching this on video. So talk to us a little bit about that fear of around hypnosis and
Yeah.
what's stopping us from diving into
There's two
this?
two things I really want to say about this. So the
Okay.
first is a little bit of an explanation, and then the second will make it all kind of click.
Okay.
So your subconscious mind's only job is to protect you. Literally, that's its
Sure.
job.
Yep.
And so it's never going to take suggestions that are not according to your values. They're not according to what you actually want in life. I mean, if you sent me your husband to stop smoking and he didn't really want to stop smoking, nothing
Yeah.
I can do is going to make him stop smoking.
You're right.
So it's not mind control. We have a saying, all hypnosis is self hypnosis. It really does have to be something that you want. And the second part of that is a lot of people, have seen stage shows or something like that.
The
And they're
chicken
like,
dance.
exactly. And so they're like, well, how does that work then? Right. Because
Right.
I would never go do that.
You're right.
And that is the key to that right there.
Mm.
So it is exactly the same process. What we do on stage is the same process as what we do in the office. Hypnosis is simply a state of being. It's the state of being you have to be in order to watch a movie and forget you're sitting on your couch. It's the state of being that you're in when you are driving and forget that how you got
How
home.
you got there? Yep.
It's the state of being that you literally pass through every day as you are going to sleep and waking up. So hypnosis is just a state of being. It's actually the parasympathetic activation state. It's the rest and digest learning state. Hypnotherapy is using that state for a benefit to you to get to a goal that you have, right? On stage, we use the state of hypnosis the same way. But here's the thing. If you are looking at that going, oh my God, it's mind control, then you are not the person who would be up on stage. But I am sure that you know someone who, when they do stuff, when they go out for an evening, they want to come back with a story and they'd prefer to be at the
Oh,
center of that story.
yes.
They
Yes.
want to come back and be like, oh my God, I went to Vegas and I swear to God, I had no idea what I was doing. I'm clucking like a chicken, blah, blah, blah. And you're like, this
There's
is
a
scary.
lion in my room and shit went crazy and all this.
Exactly.
Yes. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you're looking at it like, holy cow, that's terrifying. That looks like mind control. But they were completely available for it. That
Yeah.
was according to their values. That was according to what they want out of life. And so you would never do that because it's not what your subconscious wants for you. And that's why if you ever go to one of those shows, right? First of all, we take volunteers. Second of all, we are very, very good at knowing who is what kind of subconscious type. There's more than one subconscious type. And then you every single time, you see something like that, you got a whole bunch of people who do get called up on stage and some of them get sent back down.
Yeah.
So there's a whole bunch of knowledge that goes into knowing who is actually a good candidate for that because they want to be part of the show.
Yeah.
And so it's the exact same process. If you don't want to be part of the change in your life, nothing I say is going to work. If you don't want to be part of the show, you're not going to cluck like a chicken on stage. That's
Yeah.
not going to happen for you.
It's
So,
true because I actually took part on stage. I was super curious, so I did. I have a good friend of mine who's a hypnosis, a hypnotherapist also, and I was like, he's like, we're gonna do something on stage. He's like, would you be willing to volunteer? And I was like, yeah. So I definitely got into the state. He's like, you're definitely under, right? Like I know you are. And he asked me to do something, and I was like, no,
right?
right?
It's
And
it's
it
not that
because
you can't react. It's not that you can't
right,
choose. I mean, you can literally in hypnotherapy, you can speak to me. You can
yeah,
open your eyes. You can say, I don't think so. You
yeah,
can also just check out and not pay attention to anything I say. Doesn't matter. It's up to you. You are really
yeah.
still in control and in charge. And if you're that kind of person, then it's going to actually be a very different experience for you. And it still will work. It's just not going to look like what you see.
Yeah. And I think that's the one thing I wanted to clear up when we did this episode for Did She Really Say That? Is I want our women to understand that this is a powerful tool. You as their guide and their coach and inside of this, it makes a difference. Because if there's anything you're battling, if you find yourself going, why do I keep repeating this pattern over and over again? Call Andy.
Yes.
Like
When I'm talking to other coaches, I'm like, when you've got those clients who like they absolutely have the plan and they meet with you every 2 weeks and they haven't like taken
move
action on the
forward.
plan,
Yeah.
that's your
Yeah.
indication. And if that's happening for you, it's not that you're broken. Like
Yeah.
absolutely, that's my biggest message for everybody is it's like you are not broken. You just don't have the user manual for your mind. And
Yeah.
it's different than the user manual for everyone else's mind.
Well, and I love this conversation too. So what really came up for me just with what you said is that I think as a coach and I think as a consultant in the world of entrepreneurship in this space, we need to have and collaborate with other coaches in different modalities, right? Because you
100%.
cannot be the one and all for everybody. Like that is the bro marketing. I can build them everything they possibly will need, and that's true bullshit, by the way.
I don't know
So
if you
yeah,
know Esther Perel. She's the relationship coach. And I 100% agree with you. I have like 12 coaches myself. We all need
yeah.
somebody else. But I heard her talk once in person, and she was talking about one of the problems today in relationships. And of course, she in particular was talking about romantic relationships, but I think it applies in everything, is that we used to live in a society where we really did have a village. 100 years ago, a wife would not be talking to her husband about her like inner thoughts and whatever. And her husband wouldn't be coming home and like unloading on her or anything. He would talk to his guy friends, she would
Hmm.
talk to her girlfriends. We have gotten to a place where we believe one person should be everything. And the way she
Yeah.
said it, I'm never going to say it right, but it's like we expect this one other person to be our partner, our lover, our spiritual, like, growth partner, our coach, our friend, like everything. And I think that's true in so many other arenas as
Uh,
well. And
it's
it's
definitely
a
true in
recipe
this
for
entrepreneur.
disaster.
It is.
Yeah. Because
I
it's like
see
you
it.
can't be that to everyone else. Like you cannot be everything to somebody, and you also can't get everything from somebody. And so then you have people who cannot meet your needs, literally cannot under any circumstances meet all your needs. And you take that as a personal rejection, like it means something about you being worthy of those needs.
Yeah.
Huge problem. Big, big piece of what I see in my office.
Yeah, and I think it's such a valid point you make because, and I hope all my listeners, our listeners, are sitting here going, "Oh shit, yeah," because we put so much on one person, it's exhausting.
And the same on ourselves, right? Like
Yeah,
I
it's
know
crazy.
I know the listeners are like, oh yeah, there is that one friend, that one client, that one person who that the colleague at work, like all she wants to do is unload on me all the time. And I
Yeah,
just don't have the bandwidth to be that. I'm not a
yeah.
therapist. I'm not a, you know,
Yeah. And so it does. It takes expanding that horizon. Like I always say, like when I'm, with or around people, I'm like, else are your friends? Because I can't be your only friend. Like I can't be the only one in here. I'm a child of six. I'm the middle child for sure. I love taking care of top and bottom, protected the elders, babysat the youngers. So I get who I am in the space, but at the same time, I like the diversity of having multiple people to talk to and bounce ideas off of. I mean, even before we hit the record button on here, we had some just great dialogue and conversation and where are we going, what's happening, and that is so needed in the space, especially as a female entrepreneur. Trying to do this solo
no one makes it
entrepreneurial
alone.
crap is, yeah, you're
No
not.
one. It's no one makes it alone. Literally no one. It's
Yeah,
impossible. You cannot.
yeah,
I mean, even just from the standpoint of like, you're gonna need clients, right? You have to be in relationships.
yeah.
That's where the magic happens. And part of the reason relationships are so hard, I think, is because we expect so much from every single one of them.
We expect this perfect human being on the other side. Like they're going to know your thinking, know your thoughts, understand every emotion you're having. They're not inside your head. I think this is also pointing back to
Yep.
what you've built in your communities. You're leading communities in your area too.
Yep.
What's that like for you in there?
One more piece about what you just said. I think there's this expectation that other people are going to be able to help us manage our emotions, or that we will manage other people's emotions. And like, we can't even fucking manage our own emotions. Like, you can't expect, oh, my husband pisses me off every day. Like, he's got his own fucking emotions, right?
He
Like,
does.
you can't expect him to manage yours. You can't manage
Uh,
yours. And he's got to learn how to manage his. This shit's hard. So expecting this of somebody else, right? Expecting this of other people is your recipe for disappointment over and over and over again every day. Um,
agree.
and yeah, and that leads into exactly
The
why
community.
I do what I do. Um, you know, Community, it's so funny. I had this conversation this week. One of my coaches was talking about the difference between a group and a community, because a group
Ooh,
is not a community.
no.
A community comes together around a goal, a mission, a purpose, a shared system of some sort, whether that's a value system or an interest system or something like that. And um I know we were a little bit bantering about, what's to come in 2026, and she was talking about this. We are in desperate need of community these
We are.
days, not groups, not social events, not networking, not, the 7 million friends we have on Facebook, but true micro communities,
Yeah.
small communities where we are actually able to build those deeper relationships, where we're able to get to know each other on a level that allows us to introduce other people. And whether that's business referrals or friendship referrals, or just other connections, we have to have it. So when I left the academy, and kind of went out on my own, I was always interested in building community. I started I was on the founding board for our 501(c)(3) academic association. So I'd been in nonprofit leadership. I was on some faculty advisory boards, and I came out into this entrepreneur space and I was like, where are the communities here?
Yeah. Not the
Um,
groups, the true communities. Yes.
exactly.
Yep.
And, there's so many places where, yeah, okay, I get a good conversation here and there or whatever, but really, where are the communities?
Yeah.
And so, it took me a while, but I was lucky enough to get plugged into a couple of them. And so I immediately, kind of volunteered to be on the boards and do that kind of stuff. And then I met the leader of the Holistic Chamber of Commerce, the CEO, founder of that. And I was like, that is what I am here to build. We didn't have one in my community. I was born and raised here in Chandler, Arizona, which is a super random, weird thing. And, my
You're there
master's and
by
all my,
design. You're there by design. The
yeah,
universe has placed you there specifically by design.
apparently I've tried to get out a few times. It keeps getting me back. But in academia, my graduate work was all in international development, and so all my friends and everything were everywhere else. I had never done anything local. And so, yeah, we just celebrated our 1 year anniversary of the Phoenix East Valley Holistic Chamber of Commerce, and be opening a new chapter in 2026 that I haven't officially announced anywhere yet.
So you got a teaser, all my listeners,
Yep,
our
yep,
audience. We got something coming at you. Yes.
yep. But
Love it.
it, it's funny because people, as I've been building this last year, I've had a lot of people come to me and ask about opening chapters and stuff in their own
Mm.
places. And the question they always ask is it hard? And I'm just realizing this right now. So, kind of flippantly, one of the things
Yes.
I say is, well, I go to like 6 events a week. So, if you're out and you're talking to people and inviting them to your own event, like, no, it's not hard.
Right.
If you're not already doing that, yeah, it's probably going to be hard.
Yeah.
But
You're because networking to network is the key.
well, I decided this at the very beginning of my business. I was like, I do not want to shout into the void that is social media. I would rather just go to parties. And
I'm
so
right there with you, Andy. Like, yes, I need to live closer to you. Holy crap. Yes. Yes.
and that's the thing. I go to all these events and people are like, oh my God, how do you do all that? And it's like, because that is very specifically
Yeah.
that portion of my business. I would rather just go to the damn lunch, and I call it going to parties, but it's networking events and it's whatever. I would rather just show up and talk for 2 hours than spend 2 hours making comments on social media. And
For
so this gets
real.
back to what I had just realized, that's maybe not so flippant when I talk. If somebody next time asks me about building a community, this is probably what I'm going to say. It feels like something extra unless you're doing it right, which is that
Mm,
I'm just creating spaces.
yeah.
I realized a very long time ago, even as a professor, all my job is to create an opportunity for someone to have an experience. I can't be
Yes.
in control of the learning of my students, in the classroom. I can't be in control of the success of my clients in my office. They have to actually want to go out and do something. That's not up to me. What I can do is curate an experience.
Correct. I
And so,
love how you place that. That is
yeah,
beautiful. Yeah.
it holds us back because we think we need to, again, it's like
Again,
managing other people's emotions, right? It's like
yeah.
managing their success. You can't do that.
Yeah.
And so when
Because,
you realize that your only job is to create the experience and then go invite people to it, you don't build a community. A
it built
community builds
itself.
itself. Yeah.
Amen. Yeah.
Like there's nothing I could do to build a community. I'm one person.
Yeah.
I can create a space for a community to start to build itself together.
Yeah.
And if
And it
you,
will naturally happen.
yes, and if you do that, if you create the space and that's all you pay attention to, what you'll find is, even though it looks like it's extra, it looks like it's this compartmentalized thing,
It's so
that is the
golden.
thing that is going to get your business where it's supposed to go. And the cool thing about it is, I'm 2.5 years in, almost 3 years in now. None of it ever felt like selling. I am so completely full with private clients. Like I've got a wait list. I have never gone out and tried to sell anyone. They come to me, and the only work I've done in that is to provide
Build community.
spaces,
Yeah.
provide spaces for them to come in and talk about what they're doing. And we think, again, we've each of these different things. Social media, I actually do have social media. I don't touch it. My team posts there so that I have a presence, but every single person on my social media, every single one, is someone I met in person. It's
Yeah.
someone I met, or on a Zoom,
Yeah.
right? It's someone I met at a party,
Yeah.
basically. And that makes it much more organic, much more real, much more like highly engaged, and much more highly converting. And we think we have to do all of these different things, but if you just go out there and do what it is that you want to do, the rest of it comes.
It does. Because I will say, even for me on social media, unless my rule when I first got on here is unless I met you in person or we've had like a Zoom call, I'm not friending you. I'm not friending random people just to be friends with random people. Like that
Yeah.
has no interest to me
Yep.
because I don't know you. I have no idea who you are, what your desires are, what it is you want to do, and I'm not trying to rack up the vanity of
They're
having
vanity metrics,
the vanity
100%.
metrics. That's complete vanity. It's to feed your ego. Like
Well, and that's the thing, right? For most people, it doesn't feed your ego. It makes you feel like shit. And
yeah.
it doesn't matter. I can't tell you how many entrepreneurs I know that have spent all of their time trying to build vanity metrics, and they don't have sales. They don't have profit. They don't have, you know, they're not running a business. They're running a vanity metric production system.
They're in a hobby fantasy world of some
Right.
sort. Like, yeah, I get
But
it.
those metrics are visible, right? And so it feels like, well, we're not going to get people who want to pay us if they don't see that other people like us. And I'll be honest, I built a six-figure business without a fucking website. My website's horrible. It's just bullshit.
Yeah, because it's not required. It's well, I'll take that back. As we step into 2026, as we head in there, there is much more validation and verification through having a website than ever before. So
It's a trust economy,
it is truly a trust economy in having
but
that
it's not the
website.
thing. It's the
Correct.
backup,
It's yeah,
right?
it's the
And that's what I was just saying
verification.
about social media, right? Is
Yeah.
it's like I do have a presence,
Yep.
but the presence is a backup. The presence is to keep me top of mind. The presence
Yep.
is to have somewhere people can go when they Google me or something
Yeah,
like that,
have some
right?
sort of question in their back of their brain they need. So I'm going to stop right here and I'm going to
Yeah,
flip the conversation
because we
slightly
could speak
because
for hours.
we could go on this for hours. And I also know that, I want to respect the time for our listeners too. Part of what we were talking about as we dove into this, so I think this is a nice segue. And let's take a couple of like 5 minutes to talk about this. But confidence, I think, comes into that. So when you're talking about, okay, I need this social media, I need to be everywhere, it's almost like they're trying to buy, borrow, or like force confidence. Like if I just show up and do video, then I become this confident being and I can show up this way. So let's talk about that because as we've kind of
Yep,
woven through this conversation around what is business, what is hypnotherapy, what is your subconscious, how does that show up in community, how does the selling process become easier, especially for women? Confidence is a huge piece of the
yep.
puzzle.
And it's because it's another one of those things that we have a real misunderstanding around.
Ooh.
We think we need to have confidence to go do the thing.
Yes.
And a lot of times we then think that we will have confidence if we can figure out how to do the thing.
Yes. Which is such an oxymoron because I know what you're going to say next.
Your brain literally cannot know how to do the thing you haven't been there yet, right?
Yep.
I use a roadmap metaphor. I like to talk about if you were going to take a road trip from LA to New York, you are sitting in LA and you're looking down the street in LA and you're like, I cannot start the car because I can't see the turns in New York. I don't know
Mm.
every place on this road trip. I'm going to have to stop and pee. And if you did that, if you actually tried to map out every place you'd stop and pee, what would happen? You'd get there and that would be the dirtiest bathroom in the world. You'd be like, I ain't doing it. Or there'd be a traffic accident. You have to detour a different way. And you're like, oh my God, my bathroom's not on this road. Or you'd have to pee somewhere else, or
Yes.
all of these things, right? Because your brain literally cannot predict where the car accident tomorrow morning is going to be on your drive. It hasn't happened yet, right?
Correct.
So there's this huge misunderstanding that I will have the confidence when I figured out how to do the thing. But you are asking for the impossible, and so you will never get that. Instead, what I want you to think about is um, a tree. I want you to think about a tree, and you see this massive tree holding up all of these big branches. And sometimes success and whatever it is that we want really feels like that. It really feels like, oh my God, how can I hold it all? And the part that you don't see is that the tree can only grow as big as its roots can handle. And you have the same fucking roots. You have been growing your roots. And all you need to know, confidence is not I know how to do it. Confidence is that I know I can handle whatever it is comes my way. And I'm going to tell you, whatever it is that you're facing right now, you have done something harder. You've done something that hurt more. You've done something that stretched you more. You have done things that were far more challenging.
True.
This might be challenging. Whatever it is, it might be hard. And you will only be given what your roots can handle.
Mm.
So you don't need to know how to do it. You just need to know whatever it is, I can handle it. And I'm saying this because I lived it. Like I was chronic illness. I spent 5 years in bed at one point. And when my business started picking up, I was self-sabotaging. I was like, I don't think I can handle all the success I call in. What if I have an autoimmune flare? What if I'm knocked out for a week? What if I have to cancel all my appointments? I'm
The
going to lose
fear
it,
of
right?
success is the other side of this. Like, I
Huge.
don't want to get this side, so I'm going to minimize myself because I'm just as afraid of what's on the other side as I
Yep.
desperately want to get to the other side.
I had to literally walk around for months, and sometimes I still have to say it, saying I can handle all the success I call in.
Yeah,
And
same.
I
I
will
do the same
grow.
thing.
I will grow with that,
Yep.
right? I will never learn how to handle that amount of success until I get to that amount of success.
Yeah.
One of my coaches likes to say, if you can't handle the haters at 100 followers, how do you think you're going to handle them at 1,000? How do you think you're going to handle them at a million?
10,000, a
You
million.
have
Yeah.
to learn with the 100. You have to be able to walk into a room where you've decided to host an event for 25 people and five showed up. And you have to feel good about that because thank God only five showed up. You are not prepared for 25 or 250. The problems get magnified. And the only way you learn to handle those problems is by getting there.
Yeah.
So it's not about, I know how to do it. It's about, I can handle it.
Yeah. And I love that too because I think so many times we don't think we can handle it. We're in this fear state of it all. So I
Yep.
know you've got this incredible gift for our audience to kind of share with them like what that might look like in choosing confidence. So let's talk a little bit about that, right? So I can handle it.
Yep.
Slides into this conversation beautifully. So let's talk about I can handle it.
Yep. So I'm giving everyone my I can handle it bundle. So obviously I we can talk about all this. It does not mean it's going to feel safe to your nervous system when you go out to do the thing. When you walk into the room where only five people have shown up, that does not make it, you're not going to be like, oh, well, Andi said I can handle it. Like, okay, so
Yeah,
I'm
no,
good, right?
you have to know that you can handle it.
Exactly.
Yes. Yes.
So I really love using very particular style of visualizations that help your nervous system and your subconscious mind understand what that feels like.
Mm,
Because when you understand what it feels like, then you can access it. Then it's a
yeah.
sensation you can access. It's part of actually the knowing how. It's a little bit more of the knowing what it feels like to stand in confidence, to stand in that knowing. Um, so this is a visualization of the tree and of your roots and how far you've come and how much you can hold and how you grow to hold it. Completely free. You can download it and have it forever. It's, you get the whole file. But it's just a really beautiful, full, I can handle it hypnosis meditation, as well as a couple kind of mantra wallpapers. I've got a desktop wallpaper and a phone wallpaper for you, because I think it's a message we can all use at
Yes.
every level. Because this does not stop. It's not like you get over it once. You're going to get that success. And guess what? Now you're talking
You're
about a
gonna
250 person room where only 100 people showed up. Same feeling.
Yes, yes. It's so
Like, same
fascinating.
thing.
It's so fascinating when you start talking with, and I've had clients that are at the six, seven, eight figure mark. I'm literally having the same conversation. The
Yep.
success doesn't mean you got it handled. It just means that you're bumping up against yourself in another space, right?
I
And I
had a
think,
client in my group last week. We were talking about this. She had an opportunity to she took some time off work and was going to do work on her business. And she came back to the group and was like, I didn't feel like working. And we had this whole conversation about how when we picture our dreams, we don't picture that in the middle of those dreams, we're still going to have struggles.
yeah,
We're still going to have like those are perfect dreams and
yeah,
that's not how it's going to be. I talk about it like a spiral parking garage. I spent my 20s, the checking off my bucket list part, my 20s and 30s, really kind of trying to rush through level one of the parking garage because I thought if I got to level two, like it was going to be so much better. And then I got to level two, and I guess I thought it wasn't a parking garage. And I realized it's the same damn parking spaces on level two. You just have a slightly better view. It's the same lessons. They're just, I would have slowed down. And
yeah,
people told me to slow down, but I couldn't hear that when I
yeah,
was like, it didn't understand it at that point.
yeah.
But yeah, it's the same damn parking spots on level
It,
two.
it is. I tell this is it's crazy. You're gonna meet yourself over and over again at different phases of your success, of different phases of your life, different seasons of your life as a woman. You're bumping into yourself over and over again. So,
Same
Andy,
lesson. You have a lesson that is your lesson, and you're gonna have to learn it in 30 different ways.
yep. It keeps, I always say that. I was like, I'm trying to fix this about myself. And then I was like, okay, I know what it is I do. And I'm like, okay, I've taken care of it in this one area. Well, sure enough, there's another thing I do. It shows up. I'm like, it's the exact same
Yep.
bullshit.
Yep.
And I'm still doing it. I'm like, all right, so clean it up in that area. I'm like, I know it's going to show up. But I think with the beauty of this is as you go through this, is that you start to become aware of it faster. You
Yes.
start seeing
100%.
that thing faster. And when you can notice it faster and you become aware of what you're doing faster, then you start reducing its impact on what's holding you back or what's preventing you from doing that. Like you start going, okay, 5 minutes. Yeah, I'm good. I got that. Next kind of a thing.
One of the most amazing processes that I'm actually going through right now, I'm really enjoying, um, is this process of teaching your brain. This thing is another thing like that. It's another
Yeah.
one of those things because, again, that compartmentalization, right? Your brain is like, oh, this is what it feels like in a relationship, but this isn't my business. It's two different things. Teaching your brain, it's the same thing. Invaluable. I'm working through Ray Dalio wrote that book called Principles, and it talks about principle centered thinking and extracting principles that you live by. And of course, I'm a Franklin Covey person, so principle centered leadership. But he's got this journal, and I just got it. It's called like Your Principles Journal, or I
Yeah.
think it's called Principles. And that's what he teaches you to do. He teaches you to take these situations and like tell yourself specifically, this is another example of this. And so in these
Yep.
situations, we do this.
Yep. And when
Fascinating.
yeah, when you can recognize that the everything, the world shifts around you. The stress you feel around, the anxiety you start feeling around starts to diminish really
Because it's
rapidly. Yeah.
subconscious. As soon as your brain connects it and it's like, oh, I know how to do that. It's the I can handle it thing, right?
Yeah.
I know how to do that. I've done it before in this area. I just need to figure out what that looks like over here.
Yeah.
That's it.
So I love this. All right, we're wrapping up this conversation, and I have a feel.
Yep.
Well, we're bringing you back. Like I know that it's coming. We're having you come and join us on another of our podcasts here. So one of the things for everybody that's listening, grab your cassette tape of "I Can Handle It." So I'm just gonna throw that in there, right? This is basically your cassette tape. It's your download. However you need to get access to this, but I absolutely recommend this because you can handle it. And I think, Andy, with everything that you've shared, you've really given us clarity. You've given us both the visual, the storytelling, the pathway of really understanding ourselves, and just really making it accessible to understand what hypnotherapy is, how it's a benefit, why you need multiple coaches in your business. You should never have just one you fully rely on. And I love what you're building out in Arizona and Phoenix area, and I am just super blessed to. I want to call you a friend for life now, since I know we're going to stay in
Oh, I'm
contact.
sure. I have no doubt.
So, for the audience, you in the show notes, everything you need to know about Andi, how to connect with her, definitely reach out with her. She's got big things that we didn't even skim over what she's got for 2026, but there is some big things coming on. And this is somebody I absolutely, without a doubt, recommend you connect with. And if it wasn't for you, here's my other request. If there was something you heard here from Andi and you could think of a friend or somebody showed up in your mind, then share this episode with them. The whole beauty of this conversation of this episode, did she really say that, is that there is something here for everyone. And if Andi resonated with you, or you can think of somebody, share the
That
link,
power of
share the
community,
information.
right?
Yeah.
I mean, that is what community, the whole conversation we were talking
Yeah.
about.
Yeah, don't leave it just with you. Share this out and let's make difference for everyone on the planet to hear and know that they're not alone. They can do it. They can handle it. We have the access, the tools, the resources, and you have the ability to connect with Andi and her entire team. So thank you, Andi, for everything. Thank you for being on here. And I look forward to having you back. For my audience, you know it. She said it. She really said that, and she did a lot of things. So can she really do this? Yes. Did she really say that? Absolutely. So we'll see you on the next episode. Bye, everyone.